Greetings from MCHC and welcome to another edition of Management Consultants and Human Capitals session. Today we propose to walk you through what is MCHC, what is it that MCHC does, and what exactly is the specific value that MCHC brings to the table for all its corporate clients, corporate customers, and also the government clients. Uh, as you might obviously know that any consulting service is as good as the human resources uh, that manage it. And it is the man behind the machine which is the definition of how good a consulting service is. So we thought it prudent to start our presentation with a quick look at who are the key members of the top team at MCHC uh, and give you a quick overview of their background. Uh, we'll start with Mr. Dipankar Banerjee. Mr. Dipankar Banerjee is a mechanical engineer, followed by post-graduation from IIM in Human Resource Management. He's also a GRC member from Tavistock, has led various group relation seminars and workshops. He has had a career spanning over 3.5 decades, which includes large corporate roles in both private sector and public sector undertakings, including obviously as the HR head of large organizations. And as an HR head, therefore, he has had opportunity to lead teams in complex organizational situations and consequently brings to the table a huge bandwidth of experience and exposure uh, in as part of the MCHC consultant team. Uh, to be available to our clients as and when required. He also happens to be a faculty in some of the top B schools in India. We have Dr. Manoj Das. Manoj Das is most importantly the founder of MCHC. He happens to be a postgraduate from Tata Institute of Social Science in Personal Management and IR. Beyond that, he has also done his PhD from Texas University in the US. He is also a regular uh, academician in the sense that he publishes various research papers in domains of human resources in various forums. Uh, he has been also likewise a 3.5+ decade career, wherein he has started his career from the management trainee days 3.5 decades back to now rising right up to the HR head and CHRO positions, leading large corporates in India in the HR domain. Last but not least, one of his biggest assignments that he has handled has been as the HR head, the global HR head or HR director of a large Japanese global conglomerate. And he was based out of Tokyo at that point in time, leading the HR function for the entire world for the Japanese conglomerate. So he was the global HR head, and that has been one of his pinnacles of his career. And therefore, all put together, he brings to the table this huge bandwidth of not only HR experience in India as the HR head, but also as a global HR head that he has had of leading the HR function across the world. His specialization remains HR, OD, and IR. We also have Mr. Joyanto Mukherjee. He is the postgraduate both in HRM and has a degree in law. He also likewise has worked in large MNCs both in India and abroad, some of the top blue chips of the world, in fact. As HR head in many of these organizations that he has been as HR head, he has the opportunity, therefore, to lead the HR team and the HR department in sync with business in most of these organizations in India and abroad. And together, therefore, brings to the table this huge experience of 3.5 decades plus minus of having worked in the HR department from management training to the HR head position, has led HR teams in difficult situations at various stages of the organizational growth path. Therefore, he also brings to the table this huge bandwidth of experience and exposure and is available to MCHC as a partner consultant. Mr. Gautam Banerjee is an engineer from Jadavpur University, followed by his course in IIM. Uh, he has also been an HR professional, has handled in his career spanning about 4 decades, large corporate roles in various HR departments of various large corporates. He has had the opportunity to lead the HR function in different organizations at different stage. His specialization in his domain remain HR and IR matters. This huge experience and exposure of his of 4.5 decades is invaluable to MCHC and the kind of projects that we deal with. His specialization is HR and IR. Mr. Vishwanath Ghosh is a postgraduate from Kolkata University plus PG from IIM in matters of HR, in subject of HR. He equally, likewise, and like others, have led and played key roles in the HR and IR domains in large corporates in India. He had the opportunity also to lead the HR function in different times of his career. He brings to the table, therefore, a huge mix of experience of having led the HR and IR functionalities and expertise that he has gained through these years and is available to MCHC and its clients as a full-time partner consultant. He also happens to be the visiting faculty at various universities of India, uh, sharing his knowledge and expertise with the students of tomorrow. Mr. Shugato Haldar is a postgraduate in business management. He has for close to 3 decades of corporate experience. He also had the opportunity to play operational roles in both sales, marketing, and HR, and has played the role of HR head in large corporates in India and abroad, and therefore consequently brings to the table a good mix of both sales and marketing and HR expertise, and has the opportunity or had the opportunity to also play a role in a consulting capacity at one point in his career. So this being what the top team of MCHC looking like, we also draw from other experts that we have depending on the need of the project that we handle. But this remains the top and the key members of the MCHC consultant team who are the key members of MCHC. This done, let's quickly move on to what MCHC actually does. We operate and offer our services across these 5 pillars, which are self-explanatory: system, talent, performance, reward, and mobility. But primary takeaway for all of us is that the entire thing is residing on a base called analytics and insights. So we lay a lot of emphasis in the analysis and data mining of whatever work we do, and base our research and our interventions basis data, basis insights that we draw from them, rather than derive solutions which are off the shelf and ready-made. What do we do? Well, we work with your people. We help build their capabilities, skills, engagement. That's what anyways a consultant anyway do. But what we also bring to the table is we put systems and process in place, if you so want and so desire, which will ensure sustainability and scalability, which is so critical to any large intervention. Else it falls flat over a period of time. So we have the ability to do that also, where we put in system process in place to ensure that there is sustainability and scalability. And beyond that, you can also manage your marketing and sales value chain to deliver the required results. So our domain expertise, therefore, is human capital development, end-to-end customized process solutions in HR, sales, and marketing. And for all this, as a platform, we can come into play with digital platform development in all the above domains, which is also one of our core skill areas with which we can help our partner clients. The way we approach a problem, whenever you would come and share your issues and challenges with us, what we do is get into a diagnostics. We diagnose the root cause of those issues. We validate, measure, and validate the issues as has been shared by you. To what extent are they valid? To what extent are the issues real? Are there any unstated issues? Are there any hidden issues that need to be kind of taken out? And once we have that entire exercise done, we sit with you and we mutually define the expectations of what we need to therefore do, what part of the problem we need to take up first, what part of the challenge we need to take up second, and so on. And then once those expectations are defined, we get into customizing a solution. Most important, we just don't consult and walk away. We actually deploy the solution along with your top management and your select managers, handhold them, and last but not least, measure the ROI. And that's our biggest USP. You get as a measurable takeaway improved efficiency, higher productivity, cost saving, healthier bottom line, a mix of these, all of these, maybe a few other KPIs, depending on the nature of the project and in discussion with the customer. Essential point, whatever we do, we link it to any and all or few of these KPIs so that you exactly know what has been your ROI for every dollar or Indian rupee that you have invested in that project. So what we essentially say is that we help you stay ahead and stay tuned to your business. And to do that, and particularly because of the COVID times, which is of course thrown a huge challenge to all conglomerates, large, medium, and small, anywhere and most of the places in the whole world, what we thought is we will also quickly develop some core competence to help you run your business entirely or partly online, which is what most organizations are compelled to do now because of COVID and because of the pandemic. So what we have devised is an action plan wherein we help you define, decide, design work from home management system, process, and way of work. We transition all your critical processes in human resource management like talent management to manpower rationalization, performance management, compensation, L&D, executive coaching, psychological well-being, etc., into an online format from an offline format, because the way you run business online, the way your support system should work, the way your MIS should work might be and should be a little different to the way it was on the offline model. So we are having the expertise to help you make that transition so that the efficacy and the productivity and the measure and the outcome is not compromised. To quickly deep dive into a few of these points, so on work from home, we will help you design online process. For example, to identify who all should work from home on a rollover month-on-month basis. From your 100 employees, for example, who should be working from home at what point in time to ensure optimal productivity. We will help define and set expectations of deliverables and so on and so forth. But the essential point is we'll help you convert, migrate your entire offline business processes into an online way of work, defining every single parameter, every single measure, and every single element of tracking when, how, and where. Uh, Equally, for talent management and manpower rationalization, we will again help transition your processes from offline to online, which might include things like rationalization of manpower and forecasting appropriate agreed method. Essentially, because of large organizations, medium organizations, etc., all under cross pressure. So, how can you redeploy your employees? How can you rework on your org structure to ensure productivity is maintained, to ensure optimal outcome? We can help you do that. We can help you creating online IDPs, which is individual development plan, and implementing L&D plans online and monitoring. Most importantly, how will you monitor everything on that's happening online? To put in the metrics in place, to put in the system and process in place. Very important. While working online, one of the biggest challenges is how do I measure performance? How do I track performance? How do I ensure that people who are working online are actually productively working, productively engaged? And the keyword is productive. So we can help you design an online way of work, an online mode for all this, which we are calling setting new performance standards. And that includes all these pieces that you see on the right hand side, that payroll, recruitment, employee management, shift management in case of factory workers and manufacturing organizations, absence management, if any, performance. So all pieces, how to run it online, how to monitor, track, measure so that productivity is not compromised. Learning and development is the other area, obviously an important area. So creating, implementing an online TNA, TNI, and then training our trainers to administer them and the whole 9 yards. But essentially what you get is what is written here in red: design, implement an online virtual assessment development center. Assessment and development centers are always or had always been run offline. Converting that to online to ensure that your best people are training needs are identified and they are coached, trained, mentored, guided right is the most important aspect of this whole exercise. And we are able to convert an offline ACDC, assessment and development center model, into an online model, which you might choose to use. A very important piece that we have brought to the table is online coaching and leadership. Coaching for one-to-one, leadership development for one-to-many. Offline models are available aplenty. Even we did it during COVID times. But today we can convert that into an online model. We can run online coaching for your select managers, 1:1, and run online development programs for your leaders so that, again, their performance is not compromised in an online work environment during the pandemic times. Other HR support that we do is we do the routine few stuff like statutory compliances and HR related issues, online management of contract labor, and designing effective methods to ensure maintenance of proper hygiene, etc., etc. So to do all this, the way we run the online training programs, a quick glimpse of that. Uh, Very important, we felt, is we have brought to the table a specialized domain where we are calling it mental well-being. The context is that it's extremely important to maintain the mental and health of employees who are going through agony, anxiety because of the pandemic times, so as to help them cope with the next environmental challenge and deliver. So we do that through various session flows and pedagogy skills, and we are doing that with complete operational elements. The operational elements here are indicative. If the time span can go up and down depending on the need, but we felt this is a very critical piece that organizations might need support on. Your key takeaway, of course, is a stress and anxiety-free employees in the post-COVID, post-crisis scenario. So going forward, a behavioral event interview technique, also called CBI or popularly called competency-based interview technique, essentially is about how can we carry out a how can we carry out a proper interview technique that will ensure that correct and proper assessment, structured assessment is being done for employees to be decided who is the best employee for a given position. It can be used for fresh hiring. It can be used for existing employees to decide which role must they go into from role X to role Y. Between your three best candidates, who's the best fit from your existing employees. So this is, instead of doing a routine interview, this is a globally benchmarked methodology to do a very structured way of assessing true competence and potential of an existing employee or a new employee who you might be hiring. We not only can run this process for you, but we can also train your people so that end of the day, your takeaway is a competent team of selectors who will identify and select the competent candidates suitable for a role going forward. And they remain your experts within the system. So we train the trainer model. We train them to execute this technique now and in future. In performance management system, we will train your people in the whole PMS process or online mode. In the online mode, many of us, in our experience, we have seen that many managers are not necessarily equally skilled to do a performance management system and performance appraisal exercise equally well. So it is important to bring all supervisors, all evaluators on the same platform, more so now because they need to do it online. So therefore, we have this expertise and service that is available wherein we can train your set of managers to go through this and understand how can it be done best. A takeaway for you, therefore, is a simple process to identify best talent based upon the objective assessment of performance. The keyword is objective assessment of performance. Compensation benefit is just not managing increments and productivity and much beyond. Uh, Essentially, it is about the whole science of compensation, particularly because of the COVID times now, there are cost pressures. So what we can bring to the table is how can you look at compensation benefit as a whole piece rather than just a simple policy document and doing increments at the end of the year. Compensation benefit can be a science in itself. For example, how can you uh, decide whom to increase by what percentage? Performance rating could be one evaluating parameter, but is that the only one? Will two individuals for the same rating necessarily must they get the same increment? Maybe, may not be. What are the other variables we should look into? How can we give increment but not necessarily to everybody but to the best few? So increments happen, your cost pressures are not necessarily magnified, maybe at best optimized, and yet your productivity is still improving. So your takeaway, a systemic approach to design and implement the most optimal online CNB system, compensation and benefit system. We can design and run it for you sometime and train your HR team to take it forward subsequently. Extremely important in particularly again COVID times, productivity parameters, not only for a sales department, which is easy to measure, but what about the other departments, particularly the non-line function department? these are not easy to measure. So we have the expertise to help you design those productivity parameters for all the departments in your organization for both offline and online work. And your key takeaway, therefore, is cost optimization in trying to define the parameters and then monitoring and tracking them. So while we had been doing all this to help your team move on to the online mode of work, we continue to extend the regular services that we were doing anyways pre-COVID, the offline regular services that we had. The verticals in which we were working and still do work is org design and HR operations. What it essentially means is helping you look at your right org structure and maybe design the right structure and headcount for you. If you have 100 employees in your organization today, is that the right number? Should we have more? Can we do with less for the given turnover that you have? How do you link between headcount and turnover? What is the right methodology? What is the right structure that you should have? What is the reporting relationship? Is there an opportunity to tighten, make your current structure more efficient? Net takeaway that you have is a reduced fat, cost saving, and higher efficiency. If you notice throughout our presentation, we keep focusing on your takeaway. Every slide has something or the other on your takeaway, because we do believe for every dollar or rupee that you spend, there has to be a measurable takeaway. So all these elements are measurable sheer numbers in clear number terms. So if we do work on this area for you, if you have a need for this, then this is what you shall get at the end of it. Change management and organizational development is another domain that we work with. We help you design and run vision workshops, develop your visions, map and manage the dynamics of the organization, and establish the required org dynamics given the current scenario and the organization culture that you have. Uh, Net result, improved teamwork, better coordination, higher motivation of employees. That's the takeaway for you. Uh, Talent management and leadership development, word sounds familiar. If we can start from, if you do not have that, even help you freeze your KRAs and KPIs for all employees. If you already have that, audit that and see where we can improve, if at all. We can help design, execute your PMS process, train your employees to run with it after that. Very important, the career plan for top talent. Some of your best guys, how do you ensure you design a proper career plan for them over the next 2, 3, 4 years so that they know what their way forward path with you is? They don't have the incentive to look for jobs elsewhere. They stay with you because these are your best guys. Look at your leadership pipeline and see how best can you develop the leadership index of your critical leaders. We can help you design, develop their skill sets as leaders. In net again, take away quantified deliverables in higher engagement levels of employee, improve productivity, all measurable in number terms, better talent market share. It means for every 10 best employees for a given role, how many work for me? This is an important HR head's uh, KPI. It's like sales head saying that I have a 30% market share, but my competition has 35%, so I'm number two. Equally for HR head, for every best guy available in the market for a given role, how many work for me? So that's talent market share. Superior strategic thinking, and most important, ability to anticipate change rather than react to it, because to that extent you save time, and to that extent therefore you benefit. So how can I start doing this? So these are some of the takeaways that you get if we work with you on this piece called talent management and leadership development. Some of the routine process tools that we can help you with is assessment center and run ACs, DCs for you online and or offline. Deploy psychometric assessment tools, 360-degree assessment, depending on your need, capability, maturity model measures. What you get as a result is actionable data on employee capability and performance, which you can therefore work upon. And this is hard data. You can sit across the table and talk to your employee that this is what you're doing right, this is what your strength is, this is where you might have to improve, etc. So it's not a biased subjective discussion, but it's based on data, actionable data. Going forward, employee engagement is one more vertical wherein we map your engagement levels, engagement levels, and help design reward recognition program. Engagement, by the way, is different from employee sat. It's not employee satisfaction, it is employee satisfaction plus plus. So to do that, and if you work with these areas, your takeaway is becoming a better employer of choice, or the preferred employer of choice, because going back a slide, we said talent market share. If I have good employee engagement measures, then maybe there will be happier employees working for me. Potential employees would also want to work for me. therefore reduced hiring cost because I have lower attrition. I have a lower attrition, therefore reduced hiring cost. Compensation management, we were talking about a while back, design a whole policy, design the whole increment science, and help execute it for you, and also train your people to run with it. One important aspect in that is benchmarking compensation to market to competition. What you get as a result, as a takeaway, is a pay for performance culture if you so want that culture to come. Increment not necessarily linked to tenure, not necessarily linked to how many years he's been with us, but rather how good is he at his job. To that extent, what you get is sheer number terms, measurable term is significant savings without any adverse impact on performance. Last but not the least, we also do process audits. Your various HR processes can be audited by us. The alignment and your takeaways, therefore, we map the process, we look at for gaps and we plug the gaps, we help you plug the gaps, help your team come to speed with it. Net result, an alignment of business and HR process, and therefore better effective control. Your HR process should be working in sync and in tandem with your business process and not in a different direction. Net result, your overall effective control goes up, your track sheets and your track has become better, etc., etc. We also help you with legal compliances. We can audit your current compliance status. We can plug gaps, if any. We can help you comply. And most important, again, like we always do, create a sustainable system-based process so that this compliance thing can happen on an auto mode. Your takeaway, you get risk mitigation, but more important, insulating against penal cost. You get insulated against future penal cost. Going forward into sales and marketing, we pretty much have the expertise to help you in all these areas in marketing and sales, starting from research, which is all about data collection, analysis, interpretation, to working with you in your brand, if it is so important, around strategy, marketing communication plan, your advertising strategy. This piece can be also something we can work with you on. The product management piece, how to manage a particular category, the product strategy, go-to-market strategy plan, pricing strategy, product innovation, etc., etc. Digital roadmap is something on the digital marketing which is mission critical. Social media plan and CRM is something we can do for you as expertise. We can bring this to the table, something which is becoming extremely important in times of today. How to reach out to your wide market through your social media is an important piece because it's a low cost reach. And last but not least, in pure sales, whether it is B2C or B2B, whatever be your go-to-market, your whole distribution can do specific skill-based training, competency building training for your sales team in areas of distribution, reach, scheme design, skill building, productivity norms, you name it. The whole piece is something we can work with you on. Last but not least, we also have a separate vertical in the support we bring to you in the e-commerce domain. This is one area which is something that is up and running for us for a while. We bring this to you through one of our partner consulting firms. Without getting too much into detail on the whole process of what is e-commerce all about, more important, let's look at the what we bring to the table under e-commerce is online shops. Will be available to you for multiple countries. You'll have a multiple language screen depending on your preference. You will have integration with country-specific payment gateway, engineering, multiple communication systems, and last but not least, country-specific mobile app, various platforms like Android, iOS, etc., etc. In other words, cut a long story short, full-fledged e-commerce solution is also something we can bring to the table if you so desire, and we can have a detailed discussion on what we can do together on this area. So overall, this is a very quick view of who MCHC is and what we do. Some of our clients, we didn't want to waste too much time on that. These are some few names: ITC, Steel Plant, Walty, Amit International, so on and so forth. There are many more. More importantly, if you wish to know more about us, do visit us, contact us at info@mchc-cm.com. If you look at the bottom part of the screen, we have a YouTube page, which is the screenshot of which is right here. You can type MCHC Business on YouTube and go and visit our YouTube channel. We keep uploading a lot of stuff there from time to time. So you can contact us over any of these forums. And beyond that also, we are available over LinkedIn and other social media. Specific coordinates for these are available on this screen. You can look at all the mobile numbers at which we are available, all the website details, the LinkedIn, Facebook references, everything is given here. So should you feel the need to approach us or partner with us for any of your uh, challenges that you face in either HR and or sales and marketing domains, feel free to connect with us for any support, any partnership at any point in time. Thank you very much for bearing with us, hearing us out. Look forward to hearing from you in the immediate future. Thank you. All the best. Take care.